Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Saturday, April 1, 2023. No April Fool's joke here. We have a line of showers and thunderstorms moving through East Alabama. We've been with you for several hours this morning, bringing you severe weather information. Had to take a quick break there as we had that same line of thunderstorms move through northeast Georgia where our studios are. And had to stand by there and make sure everything was going to be okay in our county, my county of responsibility up here in White County, Georgia. And pretty good survival here. I mean, the line when it came through White County was pretty much really nothing much more than a heavy thunder shower that you would get on any given summer afternoon. I mean, the winds got a little gusty from time to time. We had some thunder and lightning and some brief heavy rain, and we still have heavy rain up here in White, Lumpkin, Hall, Habersham County, but nothing severe. The heaviest part of the line now is stretching from just south of Toccoa, up there around Commerce. For those of you who travel up I-85, you know where the outlet malls are up here at Commerce, Georgia. Back to the south of Gainesville, down there around Oakwood, then back into Buford, Sandy Springs, the north side of Atlanta Metro. And then it stretches back down I-20 near Douglasville to around Carrollton, and then into Alabama. And the backside of this thing, or the southwest side of this line of thunderstorms, has really become disorganized, which is good in a way, and then it also isn't good in a way. You'll notice that we have a couple of heavy thunderstorms that now are becoming more singular than part of a line of thunderstorms. So we're really going to have to watch these two cells, one of them there just south of Talladega, and one between Montevallo and Alabaster, about to move directly over the National Weather Service office there at the Shelby County Airport in Birmingham. And then we have another line of thunderstorms down here in central Alabama from just west of Montgomery back over toward Prattville, stretching back into Mississippi. That is pretty strong. So we may be beginning to see the severe threat really shift down here along the I-85 corridor. That's important for you folks down here in Valley, Tallahassee, back into Montgomery, Elmore County. We're going to have to watch this big storm just west of Montgomery. That's looking pretty significant down there around Selma. Currently, we have a special weather statement on that one. Nothing severe at the moment, but we'll see what happens over the course of the next hour or so. So we're going to hang with you now. The threat has ended up here in northeast Georgia, so we can go back to wall-to-wall coverage and kind of watch this stuff as it moves across East Alabama this morning. We'll just kind of take a tour up here in Carroll County. Carrollton, you're under a special weather statement as the heaviest part of the line now moving through the city of Carrollton. Bowden, you've got some heavy rain, but nothing severe there. Oak Grove heads up. It's headed your way, as well as Bucktown and Roopville. Up here in Cleburne from I-20 south down 46 and down 431, just a couple of pockets of very heavy rainfall. Things are looking pretty good in Ranburne right now. You just had one heavy shower move through, and you've got another one coming at you up there on 46. And then down in Randolph County, one pocket, very small area of heavy rainfall just to the east of Woodland, straddling the Alabama-Georgia state line. It's moving to the east. Pockets of light rain now just west of Napoleon. And then back over here on the southern end of Lake Wedowee, right down the Clay County, Randolph County line, we have an area of moderate to heavy showers. Nothing severe in that area. And then from Harkins Crossroads down Highway 9 to around Millerville, some pockets of heavy rain near Chambers Springs. And then about to cross out of Talladega County into Clay, northeast of Waldo. We have one area of very heavy rainfall there. It stretches back up toward Cheahaw State Park. From just southwest of Talladega, back down to north of Winterboro, back over toward Childersburg. One heavy shower there just north of Sylacauga. Then we continue to the southwest to around Wilsonville, Columbiana. That one heavy thunderstorm sitting right on top of the Shelby County Airport, right there at the radar site, is pretty heavy from Montevallo back up to Alabaster. That's one of the ones we got to keep an eye on here in the next couple of hours or so. So there you go, just kind of an update. The tornado watch does continue for East Alabama, and the National Weather Service was telling us just a few moments ago that they are going to let that tornado watch continue until the line passes your area. And then you can see that they have already shaved off many counties in Alabama. From Birmingham north and west, they have already canceled this tornado watch. It's in effect officially for about another 49 minutes for East Alabama, and I think that's probably about right. I think the line of storms will be out of East Alabama, and that severe threat will have ended by the time the tornado watch ends at about 8 o'clock this morning. That storm there just to the southeast of Talladega, about to move into northern Clay County, we got to keep an eye on that. We're seeing an increase in lightning output, and the reflectivity is beginning to show us a little more coverage on that one also. We'll switch to the velocity. Let's see if it'll load and see if we've got any wind in this. I don't see anything. Certainly some gusty winds between Waldo and Campbell Springs, but I don't see any type of rotation or anything that indicates rotation at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that. All of these thunderstorms are rotating this morning, but there's just no real indication that we've got anything tornadic going on. Though I will tell you, we're beginning to see an inflow notch down here on the south end of this storm. So this one bears watching. Nothing to be concerned about at the moment, but it certainly does bear watching over the next hour or so. So that's kind of where we're at this morning. Let me go over here to the chat room. Wind is picking up in Luthersville, Georgia. Yeah, you've got that line bearing down on you. We have a Facebook user watching us there in Bowden. You folks on Facebook, if you have not already done so, you'll see a message streaming here that says, please go to, and then there is a URL there for chat.restream.io. And this only applies to Facebook users. You need to click on that link and give Restream permission to rebroadcast your handle so I know who you are. Facebook started this some months ago. You have to give Restream permission, or I'm not going to know who you are. If you don't want me to know who you are, that's fine. Just leave it like it is. But I don't see your username unless you click on that link and give Restream permission. Restream is the platform that we use to rebroadcast our signal to all of our social media platforms that we stream to. Mitzi, watching us in Daviston. Watching us in Standing Rock. Good morning to you, Mitzi. Good to have you in here with us. Cindy Cherie is, good morning and thank you. Appreciate your kind words this morning. Laura's watching us this morning. Let's see what else we got going on here. Troup County. I know you folks down there in Troup County, Georgia are nervous. You just don't need any more significant weather. You know, for the moment, you don't have anything threatening headed your way. We're keeping an eye on this small but intensifying storm that's moving out of Talladega into northern Clay. That'll continue moving on off to the east, so that'll stay well north of you. Right this moment, Chambers and down here in Troup, you know, you got to really kind of look at this stuff but way back over there south of Alabaster. Unless something changes and this fills in, that would be the line of the part of the line of storms that would eventually make it into Chambers and over into Troup County as well. But at the moment, Troup, you have nothing to be really concerned about. Gina Waters, yeah, I know. Unfortunately, we're in one of those years, and this cycles about every 3 or 4 years. We have a very active severe weather season, and that's what we're looking at. We've certainly started this severe season with a bang, and we've got about probably 5 to 6 more weeks to go before we completely get out of this. And if this pattern continues, we're going to have that threat of severe weather every 3 to 4 days, which is not unusual. It's just going to be active, it looks like. I'm sure everybody in Troup County is nervous, Sam, no question about it. Margie is watching us up in Ranburne this morning. Good morning to you. Lafayette and Montgomery, Beverly wants an update there. Yeah, same thing for Chambers County. We're looking at this stuff way back over to the west. Y'all may have heard that lightning strike. Way back over to the west around Montevallo, back down toward Brent. That would be the portion. This line is kind of split. We have the primary line, and then we have a secondary line that's forming down here in central Alabama. And like I said, good news, bad news. The good news is this stuff is not organized in one big, massive line of thunderstorms. It's somewhat disorganized now in Alabama. But the bad news side of that is some of these storms are taking on singular attitudes, if you will. They're kind of out there by themselves. They're not competing. So we're seeing these singular storms begin to form. So we've got to watch these individual cells over the next hour or so until they can get out of Alabama. So in Chambers County, we got to look at this stuff over around Montevallo. That's what would eventually get into Chambers as far as Montgomery is concerned. Secondary line forming down here, and this is a pretty strong thunderstorm approaching Prattville and Otaugaville down to around Whitehall, and that will eventually make it into Montgomery. I think between Montgomery and Wetumpka is where the majority of the heaviest part of this storm will end up. But at the moment, it's below severe limits. We just got a brand new special weather statement on that particular storm. So for the benefit of you folks in central Alabama and upstream across east Alabama, I'll just read this to you. A strong thunderstorm will impact portions of southeastern Autauga, southwestern Elmore, northeastern Lowndes, and northwestern Montgomery County through 8:15 this morning. At 7:27, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm over Otaugaville, or 10 miles west of Prattville, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. The biggest threat with this particular storm at the moment is winds in excess of 40 miles per hour. So that's what Montgomery is in for. Also, you folks in Prattville, Otaugaville, Montgomery, probably the northern part of Montgomery, and Wetumpka. It also is taking on that look where we may have a little inflow taking place there just to the northeast of Whitehall. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, at the moment, it is below severe limits, as well as all of the storms in Alabama. We do not have any warnings in effect anywhere across Alabama at this hour. We do have a tornado watch that is set to expire at the top of the hour. We'll see if the Weather Service, it's possible they could extend it for a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes for our easternmost counties. We'll see as we watch these. But look, once you get on the backside of this line, I mean, places like Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, all clear. You folks up here around Anniston and Oxford, up toward Gadsden, where it's been storming all morning. Aniana, back up north toward Cullman. Hartselle, where they actually had tornado damage earlier this morning. Albertville, Fort Payne, all of those areas. Basically, if you're along and north of I-20 across the entire state of Alabama, you are in the clear. The threat of severe weather has ended for today, and as this line continues marching off to the east, we'll be clearing more counties behind this line of thunderstorms. So not an all-day event. It's not going to last but for maybe another hour or two, and then we'll have all this severe weather out of Alabama and over in to Georgia. Absolutely, Lisa. Prayers for Arkansas. Several states last night just got clobbered by this line of thunderstorms. It is nowhere near as strong as it was when it moved through Arkansas, even over into the Memphis, Tennessee area. It has really calmed down significantly. A lot of damage up there this morning, a lot of folks hurting. And I'm afraid as the sun comes up and we start to get more image out of the Mississippi Valley region and up into the upper Midwest, we're going to see more and more reports of significant damage. Those tornadoes last night were huge. They were violent. They were on the ground for a long, long time and caused a tremendous amount of damage last night. I know a lot of you are just waking up wanting to know if we're going to see the same thing in Alabama and Georgia, and the answer to that question is absolutely not. Could we have a spin-up tornado anywhere along either of these lines moving through central and east Alabama? Yes, we could, but we're not going to have the widespread, severe, long-lived weather this morning like we saw yesterday to our north and northwest. Mobile, Alabama in the house. Thank you, Gina. We try. There are times when, if you were on just a few moments ago, I explained it. I'm an emergency manager up in Northeast Georgia. So when sometimes, it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes the thunderstorms line up and are oriented from northeast to southwest in such a way that the severe weather hits here at almost the same time it hits East Alabama and West Georgia. And unfortunately, sometimes I have to prioritize and make decisions. And when that happens, I have to pay attention to my home county of responsibility. So I had to step away for about 30 minutes while that line of thunderstorms moved through here. And occasionally we have to do that. But other than that, I'm here for you guys across the region. And we will continue to give you wall-to-wall coverage as long as there is a threat. Our threshold and what we try to live by here at Dr. Don's Weather, if you're under a watch, then we try to give you wall-to-wall coverage as long as there are storms in the area. So we meet that criteria this morning. We have a tornado watch in effect until 8 a.m., and we have thunderstorms in the area. So that's why we're here with you, and we're going to stay with you until this ends. We're watching two particular areas right now, and it's going to be this thunderstorm in northern Clay. We have no advisories on this storm. The Weather Service not even discussing it, really. I just don't like the way it looks, but sometimes that's misleading. It's kind of got that kidney look to it, where you got a little inflow notch down here on the south end. But nothing severe here, according to the National Weather Service. They are watching some rotation, weak rotation, with the Selma storm that's now up in Autauga County, and we've got that inflow notch coming right up into the city of Prattville right now. With the heaviest part of the storm back over toward Autaugaville, you can see that lightning. We're looking at 40 some odd strikes in the last 2 minutes right there around Autaugaville. So everybody in Prattville, Millbrook, you don't have a warning. You have a special weather statement, but just kind of be weather aware of this line of storms moving into Prattville at this hour. And then keeping one eye on this line of storms that just moved through the Montevallo area back up toward Alabaster, now over near Columbiana. It's got a little bit of a bow to it, which is an indication there may be some straight line winds. And again, the Weather Service not issuing anything on that storm either. As a matter of fact, as I zoom out, the only storm in Alabama that the Weather Service is issuing on right now is the Prattville storm. And that is a special weather statement, brand new update just coming in. I'll read it for you. A strong thunderstorm will impact portions of southeastern Autauga, southwestern Elmore, northeastern Lowndes, and northwestern Montgomery through 8:15 Central this morning. At 7:27, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm over Otaugaville, or 10 miles west of Prattville, moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. The hazards with this storm are winds in excess of 40 miles per hour. So heads up, Prattville, North Montgomery, and maybe as far east as Wetumpka, as this line continues to move on off to the east. Now, further upstream, we're talking about places like Tallahassee, Notasulga, maybe as far north as Waverly, Auburn, Opelika, Beauregard, Tuskegee, Shorter, and then eventually maybe Smith's Station. It could conceivably get up into southern Chambers, maybe Casita over toward Valley. I don't really think it will end up much further north, but, Lynette, West Point, close call. But again, it's not severe. It's just something we're keeping an eye on at the moment. We head up toward Atlanta, just an absolute mess. It's a mess in Atlanta on a good day. So you throw in some rain and some wind and some lightning, and it becomes an extra big mess. Around the perimeter, 285, especially on the southwest side, just a washout right now. So not a good day to be traveling up I-20 toward Atlanta. Now, I did have a question earlier about traveling back toward Birmingham. If you're in Randolph County, you're going to run through some pockets of heavy rain up there on 431 North, but things are improving quickly on I-20 back toward Birmingham. So if you have to go to Birmingham today, I would say you're pretty much in the clear. The only thing I would be concerned about would be this thunderstorm coming out of Clay, moving to the east, that will cross over 431 here in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Then that'll be out of the area. So much better driving conditions up there on I-20 back toward Birmingham. Now, to the right, toward Atlanta, is a different story. I would avoid that at all costs for the next few minutes or so. And the severe threat has ended up here in northeast Georgia. For those of you that may be watching us in places like Blairsville, Dahlonega, Cleveland, Helen, Clayton, back over toward Clarksville and Cornelia, Toccoa, Gainesville, the severe threat has ended. I'm looking at the Birmingham radar, so it's not showing any reflectivity up here. There is still some rain in the area, but nothing that would prompt anything severe. So we're good up here in northeast Georgia for the rest of the day. Rain has started in Roanoke. Yeah, very light rain there in the city of Roanoke, and it stretches down into northern Chambers County. And then you got some rain up the eastern side of Randolph over into extreme western Hurd, with embedded pockets of heavier showers. There's absolutely nothing there to be concerned about. Heavier rain showers now out there on Highway 48 between Lineville and Lake Wedowee, and then up into the Delta area. Cragford, Delta, heavier shower taking place up there, up toward Mount Cheaha, right down the stair step between Clay County and Talladega. We have some heavier showers. But anything that might give us a little wind threat would be along this line from Childersburg back down into Bibb County. That's going to move east, so that'll probably make it from Ashland south in Clay County, and probably from Wedowee south in Randolph, if that line holds together as it moves off to the east. Scott's asking the question, is it going to be bad in Barfield? You're probably getting the worst of it right now. So however bad it is right now, likely will be as bad as it's going to get, and it's well below severe limits. There's always that chance that we could have a quick spin up or a burst of damaging straight line winds, but that's the case with any thunderstorm. At the moment, we don't have any warnings on any of this stuff in Clay County or anywhere in Alabama for that matter. So I don't think we're looking at a significant severe weather situation here, though we're under a tornado watch. So anytime that is the case, we have to be vigilant with these thunderstorms. Carrollton, yes, Sam. Let me go up here. It looks like the heaviest part of this Carroll County storm is now down around Whitesburg. And off to your east. You got some more stuff up there north of you, northwest of you, up on I-20. They're just between High Point and Bremen. But that's moving east, right out I-20. So you're officially still covered by the tornado watch until the top of the hour, about 20 more minutes for Carroll County. And then Carrollton will be in the clear. I mean, there are a few more scattered showers back to your west that could make it up into Carroll County, but I don't see anything significant for Carroll County back downstream. Sandra says that she's waiting for it to clear out in Barfield so she can get busy outside. You finna go plant some stuff. That's what you want to know, when you can go outside and work in the garden. Yeah, maybe another hour of on and off showers in the Barfield area. And then I think things will improve. Hour, maybe 90 minutes. Yeah, at 7:41 Central. Yeah, I think 9 o'clock's a good call. Maybe 9:30, but somewhere in there, I think you'll be okay to go outside. It's going to be a little wet, but I think you'll be good, at least by mid-morning anyway. Hey, Joanne Kramer, thank you. I appreciate you guys following me. I mean, we do this for you guys, but if you don't follow, if you don't watch, then there's no reason to do it. So I am as appreciative of you as you guys may be. I am just as appreciative of you. Never forget that. Would ask that you do support those businesses that are our partners here on Dr. Don's Weather, such as Mr. Jimmy Stevens of Jimmy Stevens Construction. He's in the room this morning. He has been with us a long time. We appreciate Mr. Jimmy. I couldn't do it without him. And then all the folks you see scrolling there on the screen as well. They're our partners. There's a lot of cost involved in what we do. What you're looking at is broadcast quality stuff. And I made the statement early on when we started this process. I was either going to do it right or I wasn't going to do it at all. So there is a lot of cost involved in all of this. And if it were not for our partners who continue to support us, we couldn't do this. So all I ask is that if you have the opportunity to support our partners, please do that, because in turn they support you by supporting Dr. Don's Weather. Mr. Jimmy said that one across 65 doesn't look too good. Yeah, keeping an eye on it. The best energy really has long gone. It's kind of run off and left these thunderstorms. These are kind of orphan storms that have been left behind. Yesterday afternoon into last night, we still had a tremendous amount of energy involved with that line of storms up the Mississippi Valley regions. But since the best energy has kind of raced off to the northeast, and these storms have been kind of, they're still part of an overall line, but the energy is just not there. Plus, they weakened during the overnight, during the coolest part of the day. And so they're struggling this morning, trying to pick up with intensity a little bit, but they're still below severe limits. So we're hoping that if they do re-intensify, they'll be well out of Alabama and West Georgia by the time that happens. Y'all stay away from Atlanta. I mean, look at this. I'm telling you. I know it's Saturday, but when's the last time you were in Atlanta on a Saturday? It's just as bad as any other day of the week. There is no good time to travel through Atlanta anymore. And then you put this in there on top of it, just not where you want to be. 285 on the west side, the south side, and the east side now. Just completely covered with torrential rainfall, maybe even a little hail out there on the west side, just south of the I-20 interchange. So traffic is going to be a mess in Atlanta, and it takes forever to clear some of that stuff up, even after the rain moves out. So you're going to want to avoid Atlanta at all costs this morning. Special weather statement stretching all the way up I-85 there from Commerce all the way back through Atlanta and even back down toward Peachtree City. Let me switch over to the Atlanta radar. Let's see if yeah, there we go. So I can kind of show you up here in White County, which is where I am. I'm right there close to that A on Dahlonega, down here in the southwest corner of White County. And as you can see, the rain's moving out. So White County, you're clear. Dawson County down here is clear. Lumpkin County, Union County, Towns, Rabun County, all clear from the threat of severe weather at the moment. Now, we got to keep an eye on this stuff over here by Rome. It's not severe, but that storm's kind of out there by itself, so keep a weary eye on that. But for the most part, the threat of severe weather has ended, and we have this line of thunderstorms basically lined up along I-85 from Hartwell, Georgia, up there on the Georgia-South Carolina state line, stretching all the way down I-85, all the way back into Atlanta, and then down 85 from downtown Atlanta all the way down to Peachtree City, and then that line stretches back into Alabama at this hour. So just a wet ride on I-20 and I-85 north of Atlanta this morning. A lot of rain, and that's just not a place where you're going to want to be if you can help it. Well, I'm humbled, breaking FPV. I appreciate you putting me in the same category with Ryan. He's kind of new to this. He hasn't been around as long as I have, but I have watched him before. I was watching him last night, and he does do a good job. I was watching him cover the Mississippi Valley storms, the storms up in Iowa, back down into Arkansas last night, and he does do a very good job. He seems to have a very large budget. He's got multiple people working with him. I'm a one-man show for the most part, but he's got a lot of folks in his studio assisting him, and he does a really good job. I'm with you, Sam. I recently spent 5 years working for the state of Georgia. Our headquarters were in Atlanta, so I had to. And, of course, when I come home to Randolph County, we come through Atlanta. But other than that, I avoid it like the plague. And since I've recently gone back to work for the county, I don't have to travel through Atlanta that often. However, Thursday, I unfortunately had to attend a funeral down in Covington, Georgia, down in Newton County. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I went down 85 and went around 285 and went back out 20. And it reminded me real quick why I didn't like to drive through Atlanta. You're welcome, Jennifer. That's a big part of why we're here. I know a lot of folks suffer from weather anxiety, and we just try to give you the facts as they are and give you the information that you need to be safe. And you know, that's 99% of surviving severe weather is situational awareness and simply knowing and understanding. Now, those are two different things. You need to know what's going on, and then you need to understand what we're telling you so that you can take the correct action to protect yourself. And that's what we try to do here on Dr. Don's Weather. I'm not a forecaster, though I have, through experience over the last 35 or 40 years, I've learned a lot. But I take what the Weather Service is broadcasting and simplify it and show it to you and pinpoint where it's at and give East Alabama and West Georgia the wall-to-wall coverage that they deserve. There are many locations across that area of Alabama and Georgia that don't get it because they're kind of stuck out there in no man's land between Birmingham and Atlanta television. So that's just, I spent 22 years down there in Randolph County, Alabama, so I know the area like the back of my hand. I know where the oak trees and all the markers are down there, all of the eating joints, and I can kind of tell you where it's at and put it in simple terms and help ease your anxiety and hopefully give you the information that you need to keep yourself safe during severe weather. Thank you, Harvey. I appreciate your kind words. Yeah, Stephanie, we do go to the aquarium occasionally, but I'm going to be honest with you. I much rather drive to downtown Atlanta than get on 285 any day of the week. As a matter of fact, when we come home to Randolph County, oftentimes I stay on. We come down 400, and oftentimes I will stay on 400 and hit the connector downtown and come right through the middle of downtown and go by the airport and continue south on 85. I'd much rather do that than get on 285. I despise 285 with a passion. Community cleanup with pals in Wedowee today. When should we be in the clear? Yeah, so I think another hour, maybe 90 minutes, and Wedowee should be in the clear. If you'll look back over there toward Childersburg, let me bring the radar current. If you'll look back toward Childersburg, you see that line of thunderstorms that's clearing Childersburg right now, about to move into Clay. As soon as that line passes Wedowee, you're going to be good to go. It may not be 90 minutes. We may be looking more at 45 minutes to an hour. It'll be on in Georgia. But heads up, Ashland, Lineville, Lake Wedowee, Mountain City, Mellow Valley, Wadley, Dickert, Roanoke, Roxton, Rock Mills, Rockford over in Coosa County, maybe Alexander City. Heads up, Daviston, New Site, Frog Eye, maybe Buffalo, and maybe LaGrange. At this line of storms clearing Childersburg, moving to the east. It is not severe. As a matter of fact, we don't even have a special weather statement on it, but it looks like it could be producing some gusty winds, 25, 35 miles per hour, and some brief heavy rainfall as that thing moves through, and, of course, thunder and lightning as well. So from Ashland back to Childersburg, all the way into northern Chilton County. Heavy thunderstorm there, moving off to the east. Yeah, we're getting a hail marker on it. There's a 40% chance of hail less than a half inch in diameter, so that's really nothing to be that concerned about. But we'll keep an eye on that as it continues off to the east. Hey, Daniel, good morning. Rock Mills, Alabama in the hood. Good morning, Rock Mills. National Weather Service has just, for you folks in Georgia, the National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Possible tornado is the tag on it. This is going to be for Barrow, Clark, Gwinnett, Jackson, Oconee, and Walton counties, which is right there along I-85, northeast of Atlanta. So if you're in Barrow, Clark, Gwinnett, Jackson, Oconee, and Walton County, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's the first warning we've seen now in over an hour. And there it is right there, headed toward Athens, storming right now in places like Arcade, which is in Jackson County, just south of Jefferson, back over toward Nicholson on Old 441, and then to the southwest toward Winder, Statham, and then back down toward Monroe, Georgia. If you're in Watkinsville, Athens, heads up, you've got that heavy thunderstorm coming in your direction, and they are tagging it with a possible tornado. So I would take a severe thunderstorm warning that has a tornado tag on it. I would treat it as though it's a tornado. I really would, especially in the type setup we have this morning. I would go ahead and go to my safe place just to be on the safe side and take the course of least regret. Let me just look at the velocity on this one. I don't see anything that would jump out at me and scream tornado, but this area, southeast of Bethlehem, northeast of Monroe, to the northwest of High Shoals, and due west of Watkinsville. That area, it looks like there is rotation, but it's very broad. I don't see a tight couplet in there anywhere. But if I'm in Watkinsville, anywhere east of 78 back toward Watkinsville, I'm going to take the course of least regret and go ahead and go to my tornado safe spot, just in case that thing drops a quick spin-up tornado. But again, that's northeast of Atlanta, up there on south of I-85, back toward Athens. But you see multiple special weather statements stretching almost from Franklin, Georgia, all the way up along and south of I-85, all the way to the South Carolina state line across central Georgia this morning, north and central. The Storm Prediction Center just gave us an updated severe weather outlook, convective outlook for today. And they are pinging southeast Alabama, South Georgia, and southern South Carolina down into North Florida, right there along the Georgia-Florida line, as the best area for severe weather today. So what they're thinking is, as this line of storms continues sinking to the southeast and we start to get the heating of the day going, any severe weather across the southeast, the best chance would be down there in South Georgia. Though there is a marginal risk all the way back up to the Atlanta metro, I think the line's going to quickly get through Atlanta. So I think the best chance would be south of Atlanta for severe weather as we head throughout the rest of the day. And you can see we're hanging on to that tornado watch. It officially expires in about 3 minutes. We'll see what the Weather Service decides to do. We just cleared Calhoun, Greene, Hale, St. Clair, and Sumter. And they're continuing for Otaugabib, Chilton, Clay, Cleburne, Coosa, Dallas, Elmore, Marengo, Perry, Randolph, Shelby, Talladega, and Tallapoosa until 8 a.m., which isn't but a couple of minutes from now. So we'll see what they're going to do as we approach the expiration time on this tornado watch. Still watching this storm down here around Montgomery. Nothing severe, but a strong storm there on the north side of Montgomery, there around the northern bypass. Between the northern bypass and Wetumpka is where the heaviest part of the storm is at this point. Bear with me here while I've got to check an email right quick. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to take care of some local business there right quick. So anyway, yeah, that strong thunderstorm between Wetumpka and Montgomery about to cross over 231 just north of the northern bypass around Montgomery, pretty much right there um, where the northern bypass and 231 interchange is, and that's going to continue marching off to the east. Yeah, that's headed right at you, Tallahassee. Shorter, eclectic. It's going to move just a little bit south of you. Directly in line would be Notasulga, Tuskegee, and probably Auburn, Opelika. Waverly, you're going to get some of this stuff back to your west. It's not severe. Even this stuff in Wetumpka now is not severe, but there is a special weather statement out for that particular area. Um, Pockets of heavy rain around southern Randolph from Wadley all the way back through Roanoke and Rock Mills. Heavier rains up there in the northeast sections of Randolph County from Bucktown all the way back down to Newell, Gray Hill, up 87 on the eastern side of Randolph, some heavy rain. And then that's that line that stretches now from about Wedowee, very narrow line from Wedowee back to Lineville, Ashland, then back down the stair step to extreme southeastern Talladega County, and then into northern Coosa back over toward Jemison. Again, nothing severe, just some gusty winds and some brief heavy rainfall with these storms this morning. So the Weather Service out of Birmingham is cautioning all of the media and emergency managers in the chat room to remain vigilant across the southeast today. And I'm paraphrasing and putting this in simpler terms. While the low-level shear, which is wind moving in different directions, while the low-level shear values are somewhat lower, the instability values are rebounding a bit this morning, bringing the parameter space into better equalization and balance. So, in layman's terms, what that means is the veering in the different levels of the atmosphere of the wind has relaxed. That's why we're not seeing tornado warnings this morning. But the overall instability is increasing with the rise of the sun, which is what I've been talking about all morning. I was kind of afraid that was going to happen. But the good news for Alabama, at least East Alabama and West Georgia, we're about to get the line to continue to move on to the east and south. So once the line gets out of the area, chances of severe weather are going to decrease tremendously, and we just lost the tornado watch. Let's let it loop one more time. They did let the tornado watch expire. There you go. So that's good news. The bad news, I'm thinking probably for areas south of the I-85 corridor in Alabama and southeast of the I-85 corridor in Georgia, will stand a little better chance of seeing severe weather as we go into late morning and early afternoon. And I'm going to speak of places probably maybe Troy, Eufaula, Abbeville, Enterprise, Andalusia, even back over toward Monroeville, Geneva. In Georgia, we're talking about maybe Warner Robins, Montezuma, Americus, down toward Albany, Blakely, Bainbridge, Moultrie, back over toward Tifton, anywhere south of Macon and out 16 towards Savannah. and certainly down here in southeast Georgia. I think your risk of severe weather is actually going to increase in time this morning and into the afternoon, while the threat of severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia will continue to decrease. If you're north of I-20 in Alabama or Georgia, you are completely in the clear. No issues whatsoever. Unless we have reformation, I don't see that happening because the energy now has pushed well south of I-20. So if you're north of the I-20 corridor in Alabama or Georgia, you can raise the all-clear flag. If you're in Alabama, south of I-20 and along and south of I-20 and I-85 in Georgia, you need to continue to be vigilant as this line of storms continues to move through. So here's the dealio. Since we have lost the tornado watch in Alabama, we are going to conclude our wall-to-wall coverage. Now, I will caution you folks down here along the I-85 corridor. Nothing severe, but we do have special weather statements out for this line of storms passing just to the north of downtown Montgomery from Eclectic now back down to I-85. That'll continue moving to the east. That'll move across Tallahassee, Shorter, Tuskegee, and the Auburn-Opelika area in the next hour. We're going to keep an eye on this, and if they were to upgrade those special weather statements to a severe thunderstorm warning, of course, I'll come right back and we'll continue with our wall-to-wall coverage. But we have no watches and no warnings valid now in the state of Alabama. In Georgia, we do have an aerial flood warning now that's been issued for greater downtown Atlanta. I'm telling you, folks, don't do it. Stay away from Atlanta this morning. And then we do have that one severe thunderstorm warning over here around Athens. And that's the only warnings we have in place, and that's in Georgia. Well out of our coverage area here for East Alabama and West Georgia. So we've lost our criteria for wall-to-wall coverage. We're going to shut things down, but continue to monitor very closely. And if we were to get any warnings issued for any of our counties across East Alabama or West Georgia, I'll be right back with you, and we'll continue with our coverage. Alicia is traveling from LaGrange to Ellijay. You're coming up here in my hood. I'm not far from Ellijay. Come on up here and enjoy us and have a good weekend. Folks, look, and I know a lot of you do, you come up here to Helen, Georgia. Look, that's like in my backyard. Be sure and let me know when you come this way. If it's where I can, I'll rendezvous with you and bring you a Dr. Don t-shirt. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? No watches for Wedowee. We just lost the last watch that we had in place. There's Tabitha Strength, niece of mine. Good morning. Love you too. Jason Garrett watching us from 5 Points. Charlotte Bishop watching us over in Daviston. Connie Hester. Tin Shop in the Hood. Dana Smith, what does it look like for Budston? Yeah, you got some showers and thunderstorms that are going to move through here in the next 30 minutes for Budston, but at the moment, nothing severe. Tallapoosa County, good morning, Tammy. No, tornado watch will not make it into Lee County or the Auburn-Opelika area. As a matter of fact, they just allowed the tornado watch to expire at 8 a.m., so 10 minutes ago, the tornado watch went away. They did not extend it in time or coverage. It is over. The watch is. That doesn't mean now, folks, again, I've said this already a couple times this morning, Mother Nature could care less about tornado watches and warnings and colors and maps and what us humans do. Mother Nature knows nothing of that. So it does appear the threat of severe weather has subsided across East Alabama and West Georgia. It also appears that we're going to see that threat ramp back up later this morning south of East Alabama and West Georgia. But anytime you have a thunderstorm in the area, anything is possible. While it might not be likely, it is possible. Always be vigilant. When you hear thunder and lightning and you see dark skies, you got to be vigilant just in case there's a short fused warning or something drops real quick, and that does happen occasionally. We've gotten pretty good at this thing, but occasionally we get those surprises, and here's one right here. Here's a brand new tornado warning now that's just been issued just south of Fayetteville, Georgia. Who saw that coming? Let me just get this to come current, and I'm going to touch this just for a minute before we wind things up. This is a tornado warning now. Let me read the verbiage on this. Just in from the Weather Service at Peachtree City. National Weather Service in Peachtree City has issued a tornado warning for east central Fayette County in north central Georgia, west central Henry County in north central Georgia, and south central Clayton County in north central Georgia until 9:30 this morning. At 9:11, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Fayetteville, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. So let's look at the velocity on this. Yeah, right there. So the actual portion of the storm that's rotating is going to be southeast of downtown Fayetteville, moving east. So you folks between Lovejoy and Hampton, Georgia, take cover. McDonough, pay very close attention because this could line up really close to you. I would expect this storm to cross I-75 a little bit south and west of downtown McDonough, north of Locust Grove, probably continuing over here around Highway 81, southeast of McDonough. Then if it holds together, eventually could end up over here north of Monticello, south of Newborn, south of I-20, north of Monticello. So that's way down range, though. But you folks down there, just giving you a heads up to watch this storm. This line is beginning to move into an area that's been pretty much unscathed during the overnight. Hadn't been much rain over there at all. And the sun's coming up, so instability is increasing. So this may not go away anytime soon. But for the immediate future, between Lovejoy and Hampton, there on 41, and over there toward McDonough, between Locust Grove and McDonough along I-75. Pay attention. You've got a severe thunderstorm that's possibly producing a tornado to your west, just to the southeast of Fayetteville, moving off to the east at this hour. So we'll go back to the reflectivity. Again, you can see that line of storms moving in. That's pretty significant looking over there in central Georgia. Back over here in Alabama, no concerns at the moment, no warnings. We're getting a few special weather statements on this stuff coming through Montgomery and Elmore County, but that's going to run right along I-85. I think it stays south of the West Point area. I know you folks there in southern Troup County concerned about this, but I think this storm stays well south of you. So with no watches or warnings in the state of Alabama or West Georgia, we're going to wind up our wall-to-wall coverage. But again, we're going to continue to watch this offline. And if anything were to change, we'll come right back and continue with our live coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. If I don't see you anymore this morning, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning for your primetime forecast. Enjoy your Saturday. Hey, the weather does get better as we get into this afternoon and tomorrow, before rain returns on Monday and Tuesday. We'll see you later. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you all.